So I chase the bucks, your friends looking like you changing up. Remember back when I would chase the bus, niggas is racing for short durations, running from their sins. When I was just a kid, running from my pen, people is talking, I Tony Hawk them, I swear to ground.
What's going on, everyone? This is your boy AshTheMan, and welcome to the video. I hope everyone's doing good, staying above ground, staying healthy, and all that good jazz. I'm glad to hear from you guys. So in this video, we're going to be talking about Microsoft buying out Bethesda today. Yeah, I got the news about like 7 to 8 hours ago on my Twitter. Just unfortunately, I had some things to do, make sure the daughter gets homeschool finished and, you know, taking care of a couple of runs and stuff like that. But I'm here and we're here to talk about it, and we are here to discuss why and what some good things that could come about it. So but before I go ahead and get started, don't forget, you can subscribe to your boy, go ahead and hit that notification button, leave a comment below what you guys think about Microsoft buying Bethesda. Definitely interesting. So let's talk about it. So this deal came about $7.5 billion. That's how much Microsoft bought Bethesda for. And just to get more precise, Microsoft bought Bethesda through buying the parent company of ZeniMax Media. So this is a big deal. And the reason it is a big deal because now the ZeniMax Media is under the flagship of Microsoft. So there's a few things to talk about, and there's a few things we can make out of this. Now, one thing is that we all know that Microsoft is going to take advantage of the Xbox GamePass to have any future releases that comes under this company to appear day one on the Game Pass. So if you're a Game Pass owner, well, guess what? Day one, you could be able to download and play these games, and that's a great benefit to have. That's why one of the reasons why Game Pass stand at the top of the subscription service for anything gaming is because of that particular feature. Not saying that their library is the best, but I mean, to be able to play a newly released game day one, you got to give us some credit for that. That's actually pretty good and hell of a deal. And then, like, with having xCloud to being able to play it as you go, playing on, iPhones, Androids, PC and console alike, is definitely interesting. Now, the one thing that Microsoft did make note of this is that they are not looking to pretty much make this like a complete exclusive to their company. And that's something that they've been really focusing on, like getting more of the PC gamers like inside of this. Now, the one question that does raise some eyebrows and definitely draw some attention is that, will PlayStation still be getting Bethesda games? And honestly, yes, they still will. Microsoft bought them, but any obligations that they had set up for Sony, being any kind of games that Sony has acquired them to make or whatever, like binding contracts or anything like that, has to be seen all the way through until whatever they sign on. Now, so let's just say if they had like a Doom coming out next year, of course they would have had already, purchased the rights for the name. They already got where it's going to come out on. So yes, they still would be making games, because the whole idea again with Microsoft is to make sure that they are not bound by exclusives. And that technically is kind of like a jab at Sony, because Sony does have quite a bit of first party studios that does make exclusive PS4 or just PlayStation games period. And they also have other third party companies that still makes, PlayStation games, being that in Persona 5, Persona 5 has not appeared up on Xbox, and the only thing Persona 5 that appeared up on the Switch was Scramble, and PlayStation going to be getting that later on. So it's definitely some interesting things when you talk about these exclusives and what Microsoft requiring for it. So it's definitely interesting. Now, I'm gonna have some articles posted in the subscription, so you could be able to read this a little bit more detail. I'm not going to go and just read all of it. But here, this is like all of the studios that ZeniMax has under there. And I mean, of course, Bethesda is one of them. But you have Alpha Dog, you have Arcane Studios, and that's the studios that does Dishonored, Prey, and Deathloop. You have ID Software, which is Doom, Quake, and Rage. You have Machine Games, which is Wolfenstein. They supposedly have this one called Roundhouse Studios, but I don't think no games. I think they was kind of like newly assembled, so maybe we're gonna see some things. You got Tango Gameworks, which the Evil Within and the Ghostwire Tokyo. Now Ghostwire Tokyo, again, that was showing up something on the PlayStation side, and again, it's still going to be releasing for PlayStation, so I wouldn't have any worries about that. Now, then you got ZeniMax Online Studios, which Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. So yeah, that's quite a few studios. And I think Microsoft probably is going to dumb down and kind of like reduce all these studios to kind of have it under like maybe like a few branches, or probably just all under one. That would probably be like the idea to do so. Just have quite a few teams that would be able to take on that. So that would definitely be interesting, because Microsoft still has quite a few studios itself. You know, of course, like with 343 Studios, they have Rare, Playground, Obsidian Entertainment, Mojang Studios, they have Double Fine Production, they have quite a few themselves. But the thing is that Microsoft really does need like exclusives. And some of these could turn into console exclusives. They don't intentionally, you know, after a few years have to have this on multi, you know, platforms, being that they don't really have to go to Sony after their obligations is filled. So that's another thing that could potentially happen down the line. But again, the way Phil Spencer is putting it is that that's something he's really not worried about. And I don't think they really should, because they definitely will be cutting down revenue if they was just to make this like solely like Xbox games, especially with the titles they have. Like for instance, if Elder Scrolls cut out PlayStation, I'm not saying that would kill the franchise, but that would definitely knock out like a certain amount of revenue for them. The same thing with Doom, the same thing with Wolfenstein, the same thing with Dishonored, Rage, and you know, The Evil Within. You know, Sony does make you know, a huge portion in, you know, like sales, online sales, DLC sales, and all that, you know, good jazz that makes up this whole game. So honestly, things shouldn't really change that much. It's just that, like, you know, Microsoft are just securing, you know, extra revenue. Even though they spent 7.5 billion, in the long run, they are going to be making more money by having Bethesda, which ultimately ZeniMax Media, being under their flagship. So definitely interesting. Overall, personally, I think it's a good move for it. I think it's a good move for Microsoft to get more games with that brand owner there, because they really have to step up their exclusives, step up, you know, the studios that they have to have more, you know, variety of games, not just shooters and just racers. Because technically, if you look at, you know, the most profitable exclusives that they have, Halo is a shooter, Gears is a shooter, you know, Forza is a racer. I mean, they do have some rare titles that's coming out, which is coming like platforming. But if you're talking about what really brings in house revenue, you got to think about them 3 games. And unfortunately, besides that, they really just don't have that, you know, kind of like, you know, library to really say, well, Microsoft got these, you know, long list of exclusives. And honestly, you know, with this happening, this could, you know, beef up the competition. You know, we gotta give it up to them. They actually went ahead and actually purchased a whole nother studio to have more variety of games. Now, if it does become more of an exclusive thing later down the line, it's bound. It probably bound to happen. If it doesn't, that just means that Microsoft is choosing to still keep that revenue coming in, just taking advantage more of the Game Pass to make sure who's always playing on Xbox understand that they can play anywhere with these particular titles that's going to be coming out. So yeah, but that wraps it up for the video. And again, tell me what you guys think about this deal. Do you think this is a good deal? Do you think it's a bad business practice? What do you guys think? Leave a comment below and let me know. I definitely appreciate it. Again, I'm gonna leave links to 2 of the websites. One that I got my information, of course, is from directly from Microsoft.com, and also this .com called TheVerge.com that actually did a good detail in describing, you know, the deal and what it could mean, answering a few things out. I think it was pretty impressive. But other than that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button. I definitely appreciate it. You know, definitely come back and check me out. But other than that, your boy is out. Have a nice one.